Second half of our chapter is going to deal with exponents. So, a lot of vocabulary here. A power is a number that looks like 2 to the 7th. An example, one with a base and an exponent. The base is the quote-unquote big number in a power. It's the number that's going to be multiplied to itself. An exponent is the small number in a power. It's written as a superscript, super meaning above, and it tells us how many times to multiply the base with itself. So 2 to the 7th would mean I should put 2 7s to multiply together. Sorry, strike that. 2 to the 7th means I should have 7 2s to multiply together. An exponential form is when a power is written as a base with an exponent. So when you look at these examples, these are exponents, but they're written out, meaning they're going to show me all of the 3s, or all of the 4s, or all of the 2s, or all of the b's. We want to condense this. So the simple question is, how many are there? How many 3s are there in this first example? Well, when we count, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means this is really 3 to the 7th power. In the next one, there are 3 4s, so that is 4 to the 3rd power. 2 2s would be 2 to the 2nd power. And a single b is b to the 1st power. Anything that does not have a written exponent has an invisible written exponent of 1. You don't see it 9 times out of 10. Heck, 99 times out of 100, you don't write it. But we get to chapter 13 this year, you'll hear me say it again. If we don't, and when we get to chapter 7 in Algebra 1, you'll hear me say it. If a variable, true of numbers too, but variables especially, don't have a written exponent, there's a tiny invisible 1 hanging out there. All right, so that's converting to exponential form. Evaluate, which just means turn it into a single number. So 2 to the 6th. So I need 6 2s. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. And 2 times 2 is 4. And this tends to be the easiest way to do large exponents. 4 times 4 is 16. This third 4 doesn't have anything to combine with right now, so it just carries. And 16 times 4 is 64. So 2 to the 6th power is 64. Up next is negative 8 squared. The negative 8 is in parentheses, which tells me that I'm using negative 8 as the base. So this is going to be negative 8 times negative 8. 8 times 8 is 64. Negative times negative is positive. So negative 8 squared is 64. The next example says the opposite of 5 cubed. And you might be saying, wait. Why isn't it just negative 5 cubed? Because that negative sign is not with the number inside parentheses. Parentheses tell us the base is negative. No parentheses tell us the answer is negative. So basically, this is saying the opposite of 5 times 5 times 5, which is the opposite of 25 times 5, which is the opposite of 125. Very important thing to pick up there. Parentheses mean the base is negative. You can get a negative answer out of that. Just depends on the exponent. But the base is negative when there are parentheses. When there are no parentheses, the answer is absolutely negative. And simplifying. So order of operations. Order of operations says do whatever's inside parentheses first. So inside this first set of parentheses, I have 3 times 2 cubed. Well, there's 2 things inside those parentheses, multiplication and an exponent. And I can only do one thing at a time. So if I have to choose between multiplication and an exponent, the order of operations, which we do again, says do your exponent first. So for the moment, the 3 carries along. 2 to the third power, that's 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. So 2 to the third power is 8. Now this is multiplication in the parentheses. So we can just do 3 times 8, which is 24. Again, I have 50 minus 2 times 24. So I've got subtraction and multiplication. I'll multiply first. 2 times 24 is 48. And 50 minus 48 is 2. In the next problem, the only difference is that I moved the exponent to the outside. But it's going to make a big difference in our answer. So, order of operations, PEMDAS, parentheses first. So 50 minus 2 times 6 cubed. 3 times 2, of course, is 6. 50 minus 2 times 6 to the third power. I have subtraction, I have multiplication, and I have an exponent. PEMDAS, we did parentheses, E is next, E is exponent, so I have to do 6 to the third power. So I have to do 6 times 6 times 6, so I know what that is. 6 times 6 is 36. And 36 times 6 is 216. No, I don't expect you to know that one off the top of your head. I do expect you to be able to sit down and write it out and do it in a couple of seconds. Now I've got 50 minus 2 times 216. So multiplication first. 2 times 216 is 432. And yeah, you should be able to do that one about as quick as I did. Because 200 doubled is 400, and 16 doubled is 32. And last, 50 minus 432. Those have different signs. So we will subtract the numbers. 2 minus 0 is 2. Got a steal. 13 minus 5 is 8. So 432 minus 50 is 382. When they have different signs, we subtract the numbers, but we keep the sign of the bigger number. 432 is bigger, so the answer is negative 382.